All right, let's start with eNCA reporter Nqobile Madlala, who is covering the public servants' strike in Durban. She's covering that leg of it. Of course, Nqobile, we know that unions are demanding that 10% again after government stayed on its 3% offer, which they feel is quite disrespectful. And you told us earlier on that the union is marching to government offices today for more demands. Where are they now?
Well, Maseko, they have now arrived at the Premier's office, which we understand they're going to be delivering that memorandum to the Premier's office in KwaZulu-Natal. And of course, that memorandum is directed to the Office of the Presidency. And they are highlighting that they want that 10%. So I'm going to show you what's happening. So whilst they wait for someone from the Premier's office to come and receive the memorandum, which we understand they're asking for the 10%, they're saying that they would like that 10% increase. But at the same time, they're also feeling like they have not been heard. A lot of people that have come and spoken to us, including Saftu, have said that they feel that the government is arrogant in a way for not listening to them and also for implementing the 3% without having a full agreement from the unions. But they also feel that at this point, there is an undermining of the collective bargaining that is supposed to happen when there's negotiations between the government and these unions, and they feel that at this point they've been undermined, they have not been listened to, and so this memorandum will serve to look into those issues. But at the same time, they're saying that if the government does not respond in 7 days, they'll be looking into mobilizing for even bigger action, which will be in December.
All right, we have Nqobile Madlala there in the city of Durban. Nqobile, when you listened to them, giving those demands, what was different to what they said to the Premier outside his office last week? I remember you said they would be giving him 7 working days, and this week those 7 working days did lapse. So what is it that they're hoping would be different this time if they're marching to the same office of the Premier once again in just 2 weeks?
Well, Maseko, there is a hope that this time round the Premier will be able to come back with the answers. Now, you'll remember that PSA was the first one to march, and they were saying the same thing, that they want the 10%. But that time round, that was just one union, 2 unions, in fact. It was PSA as well as HOSPESA that was asking for that 10%. Now, what you see here today is a number of unions that have come together. That, of course, you will know that there's federations continuing to come together and work together. They're saying now that there is a mobilization that has happened, which means you've got more workers that are coming on the ground that are saying they want the 10%. This includes the police, for example. This now includes the nurses from DENOSA. We have heard from Pop Crew. So there's a lot more power, and they're saying that now together they will be then putting a country at a standstill should they decide to mobilize for December, which means they'd have more power, unlike the time when it was just PSA and HOSPESA that was marching. But they're saying now that they want that 7 days. They're giving the government that 7 days. And if failure to respond like what they have done with PSA, then they will mobilize for bigger action. And that's where you and I, who is on the ground that needs those assistance, will then start feeling the impact of having these workers not working for that 1 day. But what we also know is from DPSA is that they said no work, no pay today. And they've continued to say that unions need to go back to the table to talk about 2023, 2024 instead of 2022, 2023, as this already is a done conversation. But they are saying that no, if people don't go to work, then they won't be paid. But the unions have said that the workers have lost too much time and have lost a lot of money. So whether they don't get paid today or not, if their voices are not being heard, it is simply a loss anyways.
All right, Nqobile Madlala in the city of Durban for us. Nqobile, I'm just going to go to our colleague Heidi Giokos, who is covering the Johannesburg leg of this strike. Heidi, as you were driving around as you were walking around with them, did you find out from them which government offices would be affected today? For instance, I know that last week Home Affairs offices, for instance, were not really affected. But I wonder, because it looks like your crowd is much bigger today, has any service been affected?
Well, according to the unions, Maseko, it seems that there have been some kind of disruptions to services like Home Affairs, and we're trying to ascertain whether or not any healthcare facilities have been affected at this stage, because we have seen a number of NAHAW members present here today, and when we spoke to the Deputy Secretary General of NAHAW, December Mavuso, he did indicate that services would be somewhat disrupted, despite the fact that workers were told that should they partake in this particular march, they would not get paid for the day. It's a no work, no pay basis. But so far it seems as though there haven't been too many disruptions, and that the biggest strike and the bigger impact will come should National Treasury and government as a whole not listen to the demands of 10% wage increase. Now, what we do understand is that Labour Minister, as well as acting Public Servants Administration Minister Tula Siglesi, is present. He is on the stage, and when he arrived, he was booed. The public did not, the workers and the union members here did not want him present. They actually want Finance Minister Nqobile as well to be present. So this is the current situation. Unions are addressing, and we'll just wait to see whether or not the minister says anything, and he's going to probably sign that memorandum.
All right, we have Heidi Giokos as well as Nqobile Madlala covering the public servants strike for us. Heidi is in Johannesburg and Nqobile is in Durban. Thank you to the both of you for now.